Hey you, do you like tanks, cars, and jets? What about robots? Well, how about all of the above? In that case, you either work for one of these companies, or you are like me and are a fan of the Transformers franchise.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
The robots in disguise have become one of the most recognizable icons in pop culture since they first landed in 1984. Once a line of Japanese action figures that could turn into cool things like a truck or a gun, turned into a massive amount of storylines and media involving a massive civil war between the valiant Autobots and the way cooler Decepticons. This ranged from the classic 80s cartoon and movie, to 3D animation, live-action movies, crimes against humanity. I mean, don't you love having your movie about transforming robots include a scene explaining why this schmuck can Eiffel Tower this chick when she is a minor? And of course, video games. The Transformers universe has been a mixed bag when it comes to its portrayal in gaming, usually just being accepted as okay. Except for two. Those two being War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron. These are not only the two best Transformers games, they are two of the best third-person action games you could ever play.
Decepticon deactivation commencing.
And I will tell you why. So sit back and relax as I tell you why these are the best Transformers games. Releasing in 2010, War for Cybertron was immediately an eye-opener for people for two main reasons. The first was the fact that it was set on the Transformers homeworld of Cybertron, giving a backstory to characters that we know, like Optimus, Starscream, and Bumblebee. Not to mention the fact that the game would not be hindered by the presence of these weird fleshy things. Yeah.
Disgusting.
The second is the fact that it was just really good. War for Cybertron is on the surface a fairly simple third-person shooter, but then changes up the formula by simply being a game about robots that can turn into vehicles. That's why there is no snap-to-cover system like you find in other games of this type like Gears of War and Mass Effect. Because why do you need cover when you can just give the enemy the finger and leave? Transforming is not just a gimmick either, it is a necessary part of the gameplay. When you are in robot form, you have access to a lot more weapons, abilities, and strafing options, with the downside of you being a generally bigger target and easier to hit. Switching to your alternate mode, which is nice and simple because it is done with a single button press, allows you to be faster, have access to some very powerful weaponry, and makes it so ammo conservation is not as much of a big deal as other games. The variety of weapons is nice, both in the vehicle and robot forms. We have everything from assault rifles, Cybertronian battle rifles,
Another coolant pump so we can shut it down!
JFK cannons, and my personal favorite, the ramp-up minigun called the Scrap Maker. God, I love this thing. Each of the 4 alt modes that you can transform into have their own gameplay style as well. Cars have machine guns, trucks have rocket launchers, tanks are, well, it's a tank, and jets are the only vehicle that has access to 2 different weapon types. Constantly switching between these modes is the key to survival here because it is surprisingly easy to get waffle stomped into the dirt if you are not careful. Oh shoot, I'm dead. I've gone offline. This being a prequel game, the campaign exists to tell the story of the beginning of the end of the Civil War. No, not that one. The cool one, with robots and merchandising. The campaign is set up of 10 missions, with it being split 50-50 between the Decepticons and Autobots, with the central plot point being Megatron giving Cybertron herpes and then ending with the Autobots saying peace out to the dying planet. Both halves have an equal amount of mission types, with 3 regular missions, an aerial bot mission, and a 2-part final boss mission. And even though I will always be a Decepticon fan because Soundwave is my favorite bot, the Autobots definitely have the better half of the campaign. Their missions are just way more creative, fun, and action-packed, with my personal favorite sections being beating the shit out of Starscream, because when is that ever not fun?
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt! You make me sick, you big baby!
Rescuing Zeta Prime, and finally riding on giant robo-slugs with machine gun turrets while heavy metal music is blaring in the background. That is a sentence that only can work with a Transformer game. Just look at the difference between the intros between the Decepticon and Autobot flying sections.
Imbecile thinks I'm expendable? Me? He'll soon learn never to underestimate Starscream.
The campaign was also built as a 3-person co-op experience with selectable characters, giving another major plus to the game: the amount of characters you can play. The Autobots get Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Warpath, Ironhide, and more. Meanwhile, the Decepticons get Megatron, Starscream, Soundwave, Brawl, and a whiny bitch.
We're gonna die! Megatron, all due respect, but are you crazy? If we go out there, he'll melt us into scrap! We made it! I can't believe it! We made it!
Yes, Breakdown. Your constant whining saw us through.
Finally, the last little cherry on top is the kick-ass soundtrack. Just take a listen. This is one of the most fun shooter campaigns out there you can play, and it alone is worth the purchase price of the game. There are only a few problems that rear their head here. The first is the unfortunate fact that your friendly AI in the campaign is equivalent to a lobotomy victim. You will basically be handling every fight and problem yourself because these idiots would not be able to complete a puzzle consisting of 2 pieces. Second is the one that many have pointed out already, and that is the fact that I hope you like the color gray. Since the planet of Cybertron is a world made entirely of metal, this game does not really have a lot of color in it, making everything look kind of drab and dull in a lot of areas. This leads into the final issue, which is the fact that this game has not aged the best in a lot of areas. The best examples are the really bad textures in some spots, as well as some actually dreadful particle effects. That being said, this is not only a fantastic Transformers game, but also a great game in general. War for Cybertron existed as a great platform that could be built upon, and boy did High Moon Studios, who I just realized that I forgot to mention, yeah, these guys made the games, build upon it. Okay, let me get the negatives out of the way because there are frankly only 3 and they are super minor. The campaign is single player only this time, which also means the robo roster is smaller, and for some reason the animation on the NPCs drops to what seems to be 30 frames a second when they are a short distance away from you. With those gripes, however, the best way to sum up Fall of Cybertron is in one simple word: epic. Nice.
What was that noise?
Killing spree.
This game just kicks ass. Everything is improved from the original title. The battles are more intense, the soundtrack goes even harder, the mission variety is top tier, the textures are far sharper and way more colorful, and there are now several reasons to go back and replay the campaign over and over again. This is just Transformers at its peak.
Megatron, you're functional. Never felt better, Prime.
The story here is the literal final days of the Cybertron phase of the Transformers Civil War, and mainly revolves around 2 major plot points. On one hand, you have the Autobots constructing and trying to fuel a giant space bus so they can leave their dying homeworld, and on the other hand is the Decepticons discovering Barad-dûr in order to create a portal to go to another planet in order to harvest it and revitalize Cybertron. Can you guess which planet they end up at? The whole campaign is just one giant roller coaster ride from start to finish. From beginning to end, we have a walking angry city, Megatron getting fisted, Starscream being a dumbass, aka being normal, Megatron being revived and becoming even more badass along with a 1984 movie reference,
Who dares to disrupt my coronation?
Coronation, Starscream! This is bad comedy.
Dinobots, and one of the coolest finale missions I have ever played. Even the final battle of Optimus Prime versus Megatron is just plain amazing to witness, even with the fact that you know both will survive because they end up on Earth, as well as the Hasbro store page. It is just beautiful to behold.
This ends now. This ends when I say it ends!
And surprising absolutely no one, the best mission in the game for me is the one where you get to play as Grimlock. Honestly, if you are someone who does not think a giant sword and shield wielding robot who can transform into a fire-breathing T-Rex with rocket boosters when he gets enraged isn't cool, then I'm sorry, but I think you have poor taste. The replay value in the campaign comes from not only the fact that there are audio logs and the fact it is just fun to play, but it also comes in the form of the Teletran one-shop. As you are committing robotic genocide, you can collect the Energon shards they drop, as well as being found in destructible crates that you can stab. With those, you can both upgrade your weapons to the point of getting high-end unique perks, once you find their blueprints in the missions, purchase consumables, and get personal perks to make your bot better. I like this for two main reasons. Not only does it help me sustain my bloodlust, but it also encourages you to explore the map in order to find some of the hidden caches so you can make yourself as powerful as possible. However, the idea of the great Optimus Prime abandoning his fellow Autobots to do some shopping does seem kinda silly sometimes.
We're about to be overrun. Where the hell is Prime? I don't know. I haven't seen him in over an hour. Oh, screw it. Okay, you stay here. I'm gonna go find him. That's fine. You go. I'll stay here. No cons getting past me. Prime? Prime, where the hell are you? You have got to be kidding me. Do I wanna get... No, maybe Optimus. Optimus! Prime! Oh, I'm so sorry, my fellow Autobot. What can I help you with? What are you doing? I am understanding. I know you are out there fighting for the future of Cybertron, but do understand, I am doing this for the glory of our people, and so we can survive from Megatron's tyranny. We are currently getting our assets handed to us on a silver platter out there by the Decepticons, and you are in here shopping? But do not worry, I hear you out. I will be out there to join you in a fight against the Decepticons. Oh, thank Primus. I am so happy to hear that. In about a few hours. You know what? Screw it.
The cherry on top of all of this is the vastly improved gameplay experience. Every gun now has its use, and instead of just two random weapons, you now can have a primary and heavy weapon to wield. And some of them can be quite creative. My personal favorites are the Cybertronian battle rifle, I can never escape your clutches, the Eat Shit I Win cannon, and the most fun gun of them all, the mind control rifle. Oh, I love this gun. It's the mind control cannon. Yes, minion, do my work for me. Minion? Cover is now actually more important because this game is honestly quite a bit harder than War for Cybertron, due to the enemies not really being slouches and the AI being really good at pressuring you. Also, shotgunners. Another fun little trick added is the ability to change which arm is your gun arm, making the position you take less of a hassle because you can immediately change which side you want to peek out of. Vehicle mode weapons are also incredibly powerful, especially if you get the Teletran upgrade, but you are now an easier target to hit because the hover speed when you are in vehicle mode has actually been slowed down. Honestly, this word salad I've been offering to you is just there for me to gush on how much fun this game is. The best way to experience it is, honestly, just play it yourself.
He's unstoppable! You are unfit to be called Decepticons or Starscream! You dare attack me? Martyr as many of your fools as you wish, Starscream. I'm just breaking in my new system.
However, I would feel bad if I didn't give a couple of warnings. Unlike other games that have aged gracefully due to updates on the platforms they are sold on, the Cybertron games did not get that luxury. Since these games became delisted from publishing platforms such as Steam back in 2017, you have to find them from external sources. I, for instance, bought keys from Amazon.com a few years ago that allowed me to add them to my Steam library, but as of making this video, it seems that is no longer the case. It seems that the best source, and frankly only source I could find for them, is the Internet Archive. I will leave links for these games in the descriptions if you are interested. There are a few other things I want to give a heads up on as well. Both of these games do not have a borderless window option, so if you are someone who prefers playing their games like that, then sorry to say, but you're shit out of luck here. For War for Cybertron specifically, if you want to make the game function on a multi-monitor setup and at 60 frames a second, you need to download an external program in order to force the game to do so. You cannot go higher than 60 either, because if you do, the game will just straight up crash. For Fall of Cybertron, I will be honest, I have no clue what happened, but this game was a pain in the ass to get working. I tried multiple things to fix it with no solution. The only option that I actually got to work was not just uninstalling it, but also deleting the app data and local app data folders related to it. This meant I literally had to install and play it as a complete clean slate. All saves and upgrades and all the stuff I did before were gone. This is unfortunately the price we must pay sometimes in order to play some great games that unfortunately were left behind. The final sad part is that outside of using third-party programs, there is no way to play this with friends. There is a Discord server called Transformers Re-Energized who have the goal of making the multiplayer work again. And if you want to check them out, I have left a link to them in the description because the multiplayer is genuinely fun. The wave-based escalation mode is a standout mode and is incredibly fun to play with friends as well. Because of these games' present issues, I just have one simple request. Remaster these games, please, for the love of God! These games are truly a treasure from the golden age of gaming, before the dark times of AAA garbage ruining everything it touches. A time when games had effort, time, and more importantly, passion poured into them. Hang on, I need something. There we go. Looking back at them, it makes me kind of sad that those emotions that should be guaranteed when a game is being made are now seen as a surprise in a sea of recycled mediocrity. Games like these still need attention. Standout titles from the past that are at risk of being forgotten should be given center stage again. The Golden Age may seem to be something of the past, but we can try to return to it by replaying those classic games and keeping them alive. We, the players, have that power, so let us use it. The Cybertron games remain to this day two of my favorite games to play, both for being just great games as well as great additions to the Transformers lore. Funnily enough, if you want to know how these characters continued, you can! In the show Transformers Prime. Transformers Prime stays in the so-called aligned continuity, which does use the Cybertron games as a part of its canon. And I can't believe I forgot to mention it until now, but honestly the best aspect of both of these games is the voice acting. Peter Cullen is still legendary as Optimus Prime.
This universe, no matter how vast, will never be big enough for you and I to coexist.
Fred Titty Score, this guy does a fantastic portrayal of Megatron, as well as some of the other characters.
Yes! Yes! The Autobots' most powerful weapon and the key to the core of Cybertron are mine! The universe shall hear my name and tremble!
And honestly, these games have one of my favorite portrayals of Starscream due to the fantastic work of Sam Riegel.
Finally, the breach is destroyed. Decepticons, the time to attack is now!
Even cooler though is they got the original voice of Grimlock, Greg Berger, to reprise his classic role after 25 years.
Grimlock is king!
War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron are digital love letters to fans of the franchise like myself. The lore, designs, characters, and everything in between are just phenomenal. It is just unfortunate that they are hindered by the one thing that cannot be patched or given a hotfix: the passage of time. This just leaves me with one question.
Still getting made? Like, seriously, all we've heard was... Hi, this is the Gaming Cowboy from the future. I was really planning on doing this, like, end skit here until just a few days ago we heard that. So, yeah, kind of answered my own question to that one. No Transformers game. Yeah, bit sad myself. Oh well. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, then please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to keep up to date of more awesome content in the future. Y'all are awesome, y'all stay awesome, and y'all have a good one. Bye.